Hey YouTube, man, what's going on? It's LNH back with another vid, man. And you guys know by now, LiAngelo just played his most recent last game in the Summer League. And man, I have to say this, the Charlotte Hornets lost every single game, but LiAngelo in this most recent game did something very interesting that in my opinion, I think this dude is worthy of a contract. But let's break it down and get into it. Man, if you like these type of vids, man, like the vid and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications. It's free. Now let's get right into it. Now, of course, LiAngelo just played his most recent game where he actually dropped 8 points, 1 steal, went 3 for 8 from the field, and played around 17 minutes. And I'm glad to see this dude is playing more minutes because you guys know the other game, he only got about 11 minutes, but was still super effective on the court. Now, in this most recent game, the biggest thing I'm starting to notice is LiAngelo's teammates really do not mess with him like that. If you guys watched any of this by now, it almost seems like his teammates do have some type of animosity towards him, or they really just don't get along with how he plays on the court, because there could be times where LiAngelo is wide open and they just will not pass him the ball. They refuse to do that. And I think, of course, that's one thing because everyone is competitive and trying to get theirs, but it's another thing when you're sacrificing how well the team is doing just because you don't like a certain player. And I think that's just an indication of how the Hornets actually ended up losing every single game in this summer league. But they've definitely made a lot of progress for sure. But man, I have to point this out. Man, LeVar told us about this. Man, LeVar told us that for sure LiAngelo was the best scorer out of all the Ball brothers. And I think he's starting to prove that he has a ton of potential here. And in my opinion, low key, I look at this and I say, man, he may even have more hype than LaMelo at a certain point in time. And the reason I say this is because we all knew LaMelo ended up being that first pick, and everyone was really watching and knew this dude's future was going to be a straight path pretty much to the NBA after we saw him play overseas. But LiAngelo, he's really had that rocky career, and really seeing him develop into a player that is able to play in the NBA, hold his own, and really kept that mental aspect and that confidence in his game, that's super exciting to see that underdog really make it out. And I'm sure LeVar is super proud of his son. But man, another thing in that most recent game and throughout the summer league we've noticed about LiAngelo Ball is his defense. I gotta give it to him. This dude knows how to lock up, and I think for sure that can carry you a long way in the NBA. Not everyone can always have a solid offensive game, but if you can contribute in other areas of your game, and especially when LiAngelo was not really touching the ball like that, him being able to lock up a defender, he was locking up Scotty Barnes, being able to lock up players on the court can take you a long way in the NBA. And for sure, I think they need to sign this dude already. He for sure has shown that he's capable of playing at the next level, and definitely has done things a lot better than other people who even already signed, have been in the NBA for a while, have been doing. And man, he is super exciting to watch play. But I gotta state this as well. Let's just say for whatever reason you don't think Jello is as good and he's not good enough to play in the NBA. For whatever reason, if someone did think that, at the end of the day, it would be a good business move for the Hornets to really sign Jello. Think about it, him and having that chemistry with Melo, seeing the two Ball brothers, the type of press they're already receiving even on YouTube, on social media, all over, is crazy. And I think that's just an indicator as to why it would be a strong business move to sign Jello, bring him on the squad, because you know people are going to tune in, ticket sales are going to increase, everyone's going to want to see these two guys play with each other on the court. And for sure, just them having that chemistry from playing when they were younger and being brothers, I think it would be super exciting. And there's something you could sell there, even if you say for whatever reason Jello does not have enough talent to play in the NBA. But it's crazy to me that the only people that are really hating on Jello, if we look at it, are really not the fans. The majority of people are supportive of this dude and what he's doing on the basketball court, but the haters are really his teammates. I just gotta put it out there. They just really don't like that he's getting all this type of shine. And man, it's crazy to me. If you want to win games and make it to the next level, you got to use the players that are able to score and really make an impact on the game. And Jello has clearly shown he can do all of those things. Now, even in this game, what was interesting was the fact that Jello did in fact get benched at one point, and they didn't really put him in at the end of the game. Now, this was interesting to me because if a dude is hitting shots, playing the game well, and Jello really has been that guy this entire summer league, why wouldn't you want to put him in towards the end of the game where he could knock down a game-winning shot to help your team win? It really doesn't make any sense to me on the coaching aspect. But again, I think a lot of these guys, even in summer league, are not going to be on that full-time roster with the Hornets. So when Jello does eventually get signed, which in my opinion opinion, I think he's worthy of a contract. When he does actually get signed, for sure, he's not going to have to deal with some of these other players who are really not looking to win games, because of course they're just looking to get signed to really try to make the roster. Well, of course, when you're playing with people who are really signed on that full-time squad, man, they're trying to win games, make sure they give an impact on the game and do their thing on the court. But I think Gelo for sure is going to touch the ball more when he actually does get into the league. But of course, on the other hand, the defense is better and the players you're playing against and the level of competition is much higher as well. But I think Gelo can definitely hold his own in the regular Charlotte Hornets team. Now, although the Charlotte Hornets did lose every game, I think there's one thing nobody is noticing, and this is what we have to keep in mind. Now, Summer League is not only about winning games. It's one thing to win games, win a chip in Summer League, but it's another thing to really gauge the players' talent and how they will be able to move in the league. And I think that's what's most important when we take a look at these players. It's not always about winning games. And of course, the majority of people, or at least a decent amount of people on these Summer League teams, are not even going to make it to the full-time roster. So it's important to remember, even though the Charlotte Hornets did lose every game, we really started to see that Gelo is able to be a standout amongst all these people hungry to get signed. And a lot of people are even pointing towards two of Gelo's teammates. Of course, you have Kai Jones and then James Bouknight. A lot of people are saying these dudes are pretty much being ball hogs on the court. And again, I think that's just because a lot of these dudes were coming from teams where they were really the man. If you guys know James Bouknight, he was from UConn. This dude was the man when he was playing on his team, and he's really trying to get his own and try to get a bucket. So a lot of times when players transition to, of course, the NBA Summer League, these guys are really trying to be the man and do their thing, get signed as well, make sure that they're going to be valid once they do get to that NBA squad. And of course, James Bouknight is locked in, but it's really important that he's going to want to try to get his and score the basketball, which is why I think this situation is kind of tough when you're playing with somebody like Gelo, who for sure no one thought he would even be there, and people want to write him off, especially his teammates. But clearly, man, the way he's playing, you definitely cannot write this dude off. Now, a lot of people are even commenting on how low Gelo's shooting percentage was, but I got to be honest here, and we have to point this out. Man, if the Hornets really had a point guard that was a pass first point guard, man, Gelo would be touching the ball way more often than what he was during these games. Over the Summer League as a whole, a lot of times he really wasn't touching the ball like that, and when they would give him the ball, it always wasn't the best shot that he really would have, and sometimes when he was wide open, they just would not pass him the ball. So of course, he's going to put up certain shots that probably don't have as high as a percentage as he would have if he touched the ball when he was wide open. And again, they really just didn't have that pass first point guard on this squad that was really looking for shooters like Gelo or other people that are sitting out on the 3-point line ready to knock a shot down. Somebody like Sharif Cooper, even of course Mac McClung and how he transitioned into the NBA Summer League. But man, for sure, this dude has a ton of potential. I think Gelo is going to get signed. Man, regardless of minutes, he clearly showed that he has a ton of impact on the game, and that's something you can't always measure in the stat sheet. And man, I'm going to be happy to see this dude for sure make it out and get signed. I definitely doubted him at one point. I'm always honest with my opinion and my takes for sure. I doubted him before, but I think he has a bright future ahead of him. And man, I think the more that he trains and puts in work, even if he's not going crazy in the NBA once he does get signed, I think eventually this dude is going to be a star for sure. But you guys let me know in the comments down below, you think I missed anything about this situation. I think he played pretty solid, man. Shout out to Gelo. Man, hopefully we start seeing that news very soon where he gets signed and then starts playing with Melo in the league. And man, who knows, maybe even Lonzo will pull up one of these days. They'll play all together on the same team on some squad. But for sure, again, that would be a smart business move. You guys let me know what you think about his most recent game. Comment down below, like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on those post notifications, get a new notification every time I upload a new video, and make sure you leave any video suggestions you do want to see from me in the comments down below. I appreciate each and every one of you, man. It's LiAngelo.